Finding a job that will sponsor your work visa in the UK can be challenging, but today I'm going to share 3 different ways that you can find jobs in the UK that will sponsor your skilled worker visa. For those that don't know me, my name is B.Chenelle. I'm an American social worker living and working in the UK. So for those of you who plan on coming to the UK to work on a skilled worker visa, if you're not from one of the countries that's a part of the Commonwealth, then you need to find an employer that is willing to sponsor your skilled worker visa. As an American, social worker is on the shortage list. I'm able to come here and work here, but I did have to find a place that would hire me and was willing to pay the home office that fee so that I can come over here to work. In my experience of looking for jobs in the UK, my route is one way that I'll talk about, but there are other 2 different routes that you can explore as ways to help you with finding a job here in the UK. Number 1, I'll talk about my experience, which is you can go to a professional conference of whatever your profession is. So for me as a social worker, there's a big conference that happens in London every year called Community Care Live. And so they have a lot of vendors from different local authorities in the UK. A lot of them were more in the London metropolitan area, but you will find them all over England who will come to that conference. Sometimes the NHS is there, a little bit less common, but nonetheless, they're tabling. So a lot of times those local authorities are tabling because they need employees. So if you're able to go to that conference or to a conference within your profession, it's likely that employers will be there and they're scouting for potential job applicants. So that's a great way to network, to meet some of the people before you apply for a job, for them to put a face to the name so that when they do see your application, they're like, oh, I remember meeting this person at that conference. Number 2, you can apply directly to certain jobs and you can reach out to them beforehand via email or by calling them to confirm that they do sponsor. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can check the UK Home Office has a list of approved sponsored companies, and you can look on there, and if you find a company that you're interested in, you can email them and say, hey, I see you have a job position. I see you're on the sponsor list. Are you willing to sponsor for this position? And then they can let you know. I did that once for an NHS job that I didn't end up actually applying to, but they did reply back to me and they let me know, yes, we can sponsor for this position if you are successful. And number 3, which is probably the easiest route that you can find employment here in the UK as an overseas worker, is to go through an agency. So there are certain agencies that work with overseas talent and they kind of help with everything. Before I actually applied directly with the local authority, I had got connected with 2 different agencies. I didn't end up needing to complete the process with them, but I do have an understanding of what they do. So essentially, you can find these certain agencies, again, within your profession that are recruiting overseas. They'll ask you to send your resume, they'll ask some information about your experience, but they also help you with formatting your resume into a CV that's commonly used here in the UK. They'll match your profile to some of the jobs that they're helping hire for. They'll set up your interviews for you. And they'll give you tips and tricks on ways to be successful in your interview or just information. They'll give you tips and tricks on ways to be successful in your interview or just information that might be necessary for you to have for the job and understanding how that job works here in the UK versus maybe where you live and where you're from. Then if you're successful, they'll handle the whole process of helping you get here. So they assist with relocation. Oftentimes relocation money is negotiated into whatever the contract is. If you want to negotiate your salary, you can work with the agency on that and they can assist in that form. Sometimes agencies will help with finding you housing when you first arrive to the UK. A lot of times they'll book your flight for you, they'll help with your visa, and sometimes I think they even provide you with some money when you first arrive so that you have pocket money to like buy groceries or food in the short term. So that's the easiest way I would say to get hired in the UK as a skilled worker coming from another place overseas. But of course, like I said, you can also do some footwork on your own to email the job position that you might be interested in to ask, or you can go to a professional conference and do some networking there to see if it might be possible to apply for a job on site while you're at a conference. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any additional questions about this process, please do leave them below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.